Hi, hello chat. I haven't been here in a while, but welcome back. Okay, wait. Sorry, just this one part of the song. It's just so good. It's just so, I love this song so much. I'm sorry. Wait, here we go, chat. Oh my god. It's just so good. Okay, sorry. I'm such a nerd for music, you don't understand. Okay, I'll put on my streaming playlist now. Hello chat. Hello chat. Here, I'll turn on my camera. Hi. How are we doing today? I like how I turned this on and immediately a cat comes on. Oh, I don't know how this got so zoomed in. Hello. Can you see that my office behind me is actually starting to come together? It looks so good and I'm so proud. Hi chat. Hi. Oh my god, you're so pretty. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So we haven't done a classic Snifferish build stream in so long, and I actually was working on some builds anyways for some stuff for that's as like descriptive as I can get. I don't know. That kind of reminds me, do I have to like not have my texture back on? I don't know. We'll find out. Worst case scenario, I just get in like huge trouble. So also hear the plane overhead. Hello. I love these streams. Thank you. So wait. Here, let me show you what I've been working on lately, chat. So I have this, like, I'm working on like making this like a little apartment building. Don't mind this. I'm considering making like 3 different ones. I'm trying to make a lot of different options, okay, for said thing. But I'm trying to go for like an old like Victorian apartment sort of building. And so that's why I've kind of got this like half and half thing. And then because I'm like, it's Pride Month and I'm gay, I was thinking about doing like half of it would be like sort of like Pood Waddle inspired and the other half would be like Snifferish inspired, because like I said, it's Pride Month and I'm gay. Hi Sniff, I missed you. Hello. Also, the lovely thing is that now that it's summer, I can stream so much earlier, which is so, chat, I'm so happy about that. I love streaming early. Like, it honestly, I'm so much more energized and I'm so much more refreshed. It's honestly the way to go. Yeah, thank you so much, Jesse.
Well at heart.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Also using the Wello emotes. Oh, I love gay people. Okay, so anyways, yeah, chat. I was thinking, if you guys have any suggestions, if you are new to a Snifferish build stream, maybe I should just start here. If you're new to a Snifferish build stream, you'll know that I really like it when my chat suggests things. So you guys are welcome to make any suggestions. Like I said, I'm kind of going with like a light and dark theme here, and just making this like nice little apartment building. I'm not really worried about these sides because eventually there's going to be stuff in between them, but you know. Also, no shaders today because we're building in 1.19 and 1.19 literally came out like what, like a week ago, so they have not developed Optifine for it yet. So this is the one rare Snifferish stream you'll see where I'm not enjoying my lovely over exaggerated shaders. Okay, hi Sniff, I hope you've been doing great. I have been doing great. Yo, thank you so much, Izzy Pixel, for the raid. You've raided it so long. I have missed you. Welcome. And thank you so much, Gay Dinosaurs, for the 1-month streak. Hey, Steph, could you please turn the music down a bit? No, of course. Oh my god. I hear the music differently than you guys, so I don't know how loud it is. So if you guys ever like want me to turn it down, if it's like ever too overwhelming or anything like that, don't be afraid to just say, yo, Stiff, please. And I totally will. I respect y'all. I want you to feel comfortable on my stream. Oh wait, here, let me pull up the reference photo that I was originally using. The reason why I'm going for like this old like Victorian sort of style is because I don't know, I tend to build medieval a lot and I wanted to try something a little bit more city-ish. Okay, wait. So this is like the reference photo that I was kind of using. Like, you know, I'm gonna like try and work on this like little roof area, I think, and then I'm gonna start building backwards. Like how Sif just builds, like she doesn't seem to think about it in any way. Thank you. I actually really appreciate that. I just kind of, that's a pretty accurate way to describe how I build. Like I just do it.
10 months, less than 3.
Yo, thank you so much, Willowy Wall, for the 10 months. I appreciate it. Your mic is so cool. What with my flowers? Actually, really funny story, chat. This is a flower crown that this is a flower crown that like broke. So it had like a pretty nice wire on it. So then I just took the wire and I just like, you know, wrapped it around my mic, and I don't know, I think it looks really cool. What texture pack are you using? I am sorry, I can't say. It's just a slightly modified version of Minecraft. I'm just chilling. I don't even know if I'm supposed to have it on, so I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't. Wait, here, chat. Let me put this like this, and then I'm just gonna change my texture pack real quick. It's a client's pack, so like it's for someone I'm building for, but it doesn't really change that much, so I think I should be fine to build without it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So Snifferish is doing evil things, and by that I mean things I'm not supposed to. Okay, and now I'm going to add, I kind of want to use mud bricks. The new mud bricks are so cool. Sif, what are you building? I don't know, I'm just building a little apartment building. Like, I'm just trying to think about what I want to do for the roof. I'm trying to see, like, because you can't really see the roof. Oh, that's a sound and a half. You can't really see the roof in, like, the... Wait, maybe I could add, like, a little, like, opening part right here? Wait. Maybe I could do... Just... Yo, thank you so much, Dill! Hi, I appreciate you greatly. Also, shout out to my sub sound. So silly. I freaking love it. It's from, if you guys have never recognized that sub sound, it is from Bee and Puppy Cat. And one of my favorite shows ever. Okay, and then I'm gonna do this. Okay, I need smooth quartz. Here we go. Money in the chat, amen. Thank you. Yeah, the split dye hairs on TikToks, that's what it reminds me of, and I love it. Thank you. Honestly, I was just thinking about how, like I said, I'm using a reference photo, and in the reference photo they have one where like the houses are 2 different colors, and I was like, that looks cool. I want to try that. And I don't know, it's like it's a unique style, so I like it so far. Okay, let me just... Yeah, I kind of like that, the weird little random peak. I think I might mimic it again right here as well, just to add some consistency. Put polished granite at the first line. Wait, what do you mean? Like, yeah, thank you so much, Rainstorm. I appreciate it.
Rain, the man who changes his user every 2 seconds. I wish to say, you're epic and awesome, ANS. I can't believe it's been a year already. 0.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are going to be starting to hit a year because a while ago we hit a year of the Bear SMP, which is was like the big thing that I streamed last summer. So yeah. Hi Wolfie. Hello. Do you have a Spotify? Yes, I do. I think you can do exclamation point Spotify. I hope so. If not, it's like hooked up. Yo, thank you so much, Clay Cats, for the tier 1. If not, it should be hooked up to my, what's it called? It should be hooked up to the, my Discord. So if you join Discord, you can just like click on my user activity and stuff like that. Yeah. Hi Sim, sorry I'm late. I'm not on. No, it's okay. It's totally okay, chat. I think it's really great that a lot of people have been spending this summer like being out and being active. That's kind of what I wanted to do today. Today's the summer solstice, which is very important to me. And so I kind of was just like, oh, well, I'll just like stream early so that I can have the rest of the day to like, you know, go outside and be outside and enjoy it and all that crap. Wait, here, let me do game rule. Yo, thank you so much for the raid. Sina? I don't know how to pronounce your name, but thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Okay, wait. I just before I forget, I must change the do weather cycle to false. Okay, there we go. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Hi, I'm Sniff. Drop a follow if you would like to. I like to build and play creative games and stuff like that. Right now I'm building a little apartment building thing, a majigger. I don't know what to call it. So I did auditions for a show and I think they did okay. Yo, every single time I used to do auditions for theater, I'd always get way too nervous. I think that's like honestly the main reason why I stopped doing theater, was specifically because the audition process made me so anxious. And I would get like sick, like I would get ill over how anxious I felt. Okay, wait. I'm trying to think about how I want to go about this. I feel like I kind of regret the triangles. I kind of don't like them now. I feel like they took away like the roundiness that I was building up here. So I'm actually gonna say no to these guys. Sorry to anyone who was enjoying them. I mean, but this is what building is. You kind of just go back and forth until you get something you like. I found your YouTube channel so many years ago and I'm only catching a stream now. Great to see your content again. Oh my gosh. I remember my YouTube content days. I really want to start making YouTube content again. I guess the thing that I'm stuck on is like this paralysis of like, will it be good enough? If that makes sense. Like, I'm just in this moment of like, oh my god, I really want to create YouTube content, but I want it to be really good and like high quality. So I think that I kind of screwed myself over, I think, because I'm too high expectations, chat. Can really ruin it sometimes. What's your favorite building block? It's really always, since last year, it's been Deep Slate. I think Deep Slate was like a really good addition to Minecraft. I think it was a block that we had been missing for a while. Yeah, overall I would just give it a very good block. I use it in a lot of builds now that I think about it. It's kind of become my like stone replacement. Like I used to use stone for a lot of things, but now I just mostly use Deep Slate. Also, yeah, the summer solstice is the longest day. It also is technically one of, like, if you are pagan in any way, whether it be like Norse pagan or Celtic pagan, it is normally considered a holiday. That looks so good, thank you. I'm focusing really heavily on the outside, or like, I guess the front wall face, because obviously it's like the very first thing that you see. Yeah, the depth and shape of this build is so cool. Thank you. I put a lot of effort into depth in my builds. And it's kind of, like I said, this is really the only decorated part because the sides are going to get covered. So I really want to make the face of the build like very out there, I guess. Okay, let's see what else I can add. I mean, I do want to add flower baskets. Flower baskets just make me happy. Like right here. Like I said, I'm kind of going for this like strange theme of like one is like a very alive side and the other's like kind of dead. So I'm probably just going to be using like dead sticks and stuff like that in the on this side. Okay, wait, let me get this in the birch trap door. Okay. Wait, let me just pop up here. There we go. And I'll do the same right here. The green hair brings back so much memories. Shout out to when I had green hair. That was such a moment. Wait, actually, I need to do that. There we go. Okay, and then for the flowers, I'm going to do a wither rose. And then over here, I think a good, like, yeah, I think that's good. I probably will add some more detail in here, but first I'm gonna build the back up a little bit. I know the mangrove door is so good. I've always wanted like more red wood in Minecraft, so I'm so glad that they added the mangrove. Okay, so I'm gonna build to about right here, and then there's gonna be like a little bit of a backyard. I really want to get better at building. How are you able to do so much detail? I'm gonna be honest, like this is something that really surprises most people, but half the time I'm like cheesing it. Like I'm just making shit up. Like, yeah, thank you so much for the prime. I'm just like, I'm literally just making shit up half the time. Like, I just try to really use like blocks other than the basic like square block, and then I just go from there and I just make shit up. The birch tree leaves look drier than the others, so it could fit more dead theme. That's true. Wait, let me see. Birch leaves looks kind of really dead, yeah. Actually, I kind of like that. It kind of looks like a really shriveled bush. Okay, let me get back to what I was doing. Hi, Steph. I haven't catch a stream in a while, but welcome back. I'm so excited that you're here. Like I said, this is the joy of streaming early, chat. I can finally... I've always liked to stream early, but a lot of people in my chat have school, so that's why I kind of reverted to doing it at like 6 p.m. But we're living the dream right now. I tested positive for COVID on the first few days of summer. Oh, man. I have had quite a few COVID scares, but I have been very lucky not to have one as of lately. Especially since I am slightly immune sensitive, so I really don't want to get it. But I am sorry to hear that. I hope you stay inside and drink lots of soup and watch lots of TV and take the time to rest. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing this. I literally have world edit. Yeah, thank you so much.
To think this started as a gifted sub. Happy Pride Month, less than 3.
Thank you so much. I literally have world edit. I don't know what I'm doing here, manually placing all these blocks. It's the old-fashioned builder inside of me, chat. Okay, this is fun to you. This shit is so boring. Dude, I don't know. I love building so much. I don't get it either. I don't get it either. Some people, they're like, building? No, this is not it. But, yeah. I quite like it. Okay, so slash replace. And then we'll do air. No, wait, slash replace air, and then it's deep slate underscore bricks. There we go. I like this. Much better. Okay, now I don't have to manually place all that shit. Okay, and then do this, and I can do it on each side now. Okay, it's not boring when you do it. Thank you. Building brings out the inner zen. Honestly, it's no different than watching like an art stream in my opinion. Wait, did I mess that up? Okay, I didn't. Awesome. I think it's a nice vibe. Thank you. Imagine spending 24 hours building a mushroom. Dude, I've spent so long on some of the stupidest builds ever. Okay, wait. No, I want normal sandstone. Okay, we'll take this, put this here. And then I will build up these walls real quick. I think I really like the skinny townhouse vibe that we got going on here. I think doing the insides is gonna be like really fun. Imagine watching Bob Ross and saying, "How can you paint shit so boring?" Oh my god, so true, so true. Also, like, I'm sorry, should I just be like, what else do I do? I don't know. Okay, slash replace sand, wait, no, air smooth sandstone. Dude, I'm telling you, if you want, I can like go on my toxic gamer arc. I'm sure that you probably prefer to watch men play Valorant and shit on women, but sorry, King, that's just not me. Okay, and then we'll do this real quick. And then, oh my, I'm so excited to work on the inside. I think that's why I'm kind of rushing to work on it, but I think I'm gonna work on the inside before I work on the back, just so I know exactly where to put the doors and stuff like that. Okay, let me just fill this in real quick. All right, I guess we'll start on this side first. Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea. I'm not sure if I wanted to like go, yeah, I think it needs to go like immediately up just a little bit. Because what I would prefer is that, okay, wait, here, let me do this real quick. And then to cover that up, I'm gonna do that. Are you planning on making a build inspired by the Deep Dark anytime soon? I wasn't until you said that, but now I totally am. That sounds amazing. I would love to do a build inspired by the Deep Dark. Especially since I went on that tour with like the Minecraft dev and everything. Okay, so what I'm thinking is I'm gonna do like a little wall right here. Like you walk in and like this is like the little entryway and then you go over here and then this leads to the back. So what is the theme of this build? It's like it's supposed to be like a city apartment, but I'm making one very like, you know, like light and airy and full of plants and the other one very like dark and kind of spooky. Okay, and then I'll probably mimic the layout on both sides because typically with apartment buildings, they tend to kind of have the same layout. So, hey Sniff, been a while and I'm glad to be back. Mr. Sniffs, oh thank you, I appreciate it. All right, let's see if I want what wall color I want to use. I typically use like terracotta for like walls and stuff like that just because it has a nice smooth texture, but it's not like so smooth like concrete. Okay, so you walk in, it's like here, and then let me use some exposed wood beams. I don't know why I said it like that. Okay, so then you walk in. Actually, I'm gonna move this one more. Like right here. Yeah, much better. Okay. Looks like my best friend's house when we were growing up. I've been in a townhouse like this. It's been a minute, no doubt, but I always really like them just because they're pretty narrow, but they do have like a pretty cool layout most of the time. Okay, so then I'm thinking what we can do from here. And then under here is going to be like a little garage area for a car / like workshop. Sometimes I think about old Minecraft. Do you? Yes, I do. I think about, I don't know, Minecraft has become so good, but I do think about like how it used to be, and yeah. They're narrow, but they don't feel cramped. Yeah, because they're tall. Like they make up for it in height. Okay, so walk in here. What are some basic things? You need like a little, this would be like a little desk area / entryway. We'll have like a sort of open concept kitchen, and that will go like right here, and then we'll do this. Also, I can make it pretty tall, thankfully. Okay. And then back here, we'll do a living room, and then I'll have some nice windows going out. And then I need a place for there to be stairs up. Okay, how about literally right here? I don't know if that's too crammed. Wait. You know what I'll do, chat, is I'll move this back one. I think that should work pretty well. Just means a slightly bigger kitchen. Maybe you can try making a loft. I don't know if I necessarily need a loft because I think I made plenty of space for there to be a second floor. Okay, so then we'll do... And then that will lead upstairs, so let me build the upstairs part real quick. Just so we can have kind of a general idea about where it should land. I might need to make those stairs taller. Holy shit, I did not realize that I had made this entire thing so tall. A place to put your coats and hats, yeah. Okay. Okay, so maybe what I can do here then... I mean, I could make a spiral staircase instead and put it like right there. If you guys think that that might work better for the space. I'm kind of thinking that it might. I mean, it's a little unfortunate because this is like such a little nice area, but I do think that a spiral staircase would take up less space. Okay. Then I shall do that. And then I'm gonna use dark oak, I think, for the staircase, just for like a little bit of contrast. think this works pretty well because it does land you out right here. A spiral case does sound cool. Yeah, I do think that this works better for the space and just the fact that the house is a little bit on the smaller side. I'm a little sad that it covers up the window, but like, oh well. Oh my gosh, Deep Sleep has such like a vampire-y vibe. Dude, so true. I don't want to build anything with redstone, chat, just because I am this is going on a different world in the end, and I don't necessarily know what their ideals are on redstone mechanics, so I will just leave it as it is. Okay, and then let me build this up. It's a little sad that this place is going to be pretty dark just because it's going to be sandwiched. Yo, thank you so much for the 15 months. Thank you.
Sniff lesbian pride.
Okay. Here, let me see. Oh, it's so naked on the side, but that's just how it's going to be. I'll just like keep it very dark and like all that jazz. Okay. Let me do a sort of roof treatment here, or a ceiling treatment. I'm thinking for this one, I am gonna make it stone. No. No, I do not like it. Then I'll just stick to smooth quartz. Like how I'm still wearing my MCC skin. I have not changed out of it yet. I'm in a very bad habit of like not changing out of my skins, so oops. Okay, and then we'll take some frog lights. I forgot that I had those. I could kind of do like this nice like purpley light. I kind of like that. Okay. I kind of like this. I think soul lanterns would look really cool. I agree with you there, buddy. Here, I'm gonna do a sort of dark oak trim here. And then I'm kind of going with like a little bit of like old-fashioned Victorian styled like trims and stuff like that, only because these townhouses tend to be pretty old. At least the ones that I have been to, so it just kind of makes sense for there to be this sort of spook. I wonder if I could fit a door under that staircase. Yes. Oh, it's perfect. You know, and then this just becomes like a little storage area, so we get like a barrel. Nice. It looks so good. Thank you. Your creativity is so awesome. Thank you. I hope that I have to have a lot of creativity. I did used to be a pro builder, so coming up with stuff quick and making it look simple but nice was kind of my job. Okay, so come in here. You got a little place to drop off your coats. You can come over here. You got this going to be a nice little kitchen, and then over here will be like a living space. And then we got the upstairs. I think I need to do my little... Here, we'll do... There we go. The hair color suits you so well, Sniff. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, I'm happy to see you, Sniff. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. So, actually, you know what I'll do for right here? I'll do like a little... I'm trying to just think. It's like chat. There you go. I think this works. Just makes it look a little bit cleaner. And then this should continue to the ceiling. There we go. Yo, thank you so much, Becky, for the raid. I appreciate it. Hi, Becky, Mon Raiders. Hello, it's me, Snifferish, and I am currently working on a silly little build. I'm currently working on 2 little apartment buildings right next to each other with opposite aesthetics, and currently we're working with the chat to build the inside. So, hello, welcome. Feel free to come join us on our little building adventure, but if you also need to take a break, I totally understand. Do what you gotta do, homies. Okay. So I guess I'll start by decorating the downstairs first. So for a spooky kitchen, I kind of want to go with like ugly classic tiles. Like, wait, here. Let's see. Oh wait, I also just realized that technically Yeah, technically I do have this covered, so I can make this whatever color I want. So I could theoretically do this as well. So I don't really need to have the stone right here. Nice. Nice, Cass. Also, wait. Here, I can also do do some bookcases like down here, I guess. Just makes sense in my brain. Okay, so right here, first things first, I'm gonna build like a little bit of a stove, I guess. I tend to use smokers for stoves. Smoker, here we go. Okay. I'll put this here, and then actually, since this is a really small, like little kitchen, I'm just gonna use one. And then we put, hello? There we go. And then I tend to make my like little range thing, I tend to put like a polish andesite and then get this. Wait. Barf! Do that.
Hi, Sniff. Haven't been able to catch a stream in a while, so glad to finally watch one.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you for continuing your sub even though you haven't been able to catch a stream. Hello. Okay, so chat, another thing that I really like to do, this is like a little sniff thing. I like to use pistons for countertops. I know it's a little weird, but it kind of just reminds me of like butcher block. I don't understand it either. It's okay. Another thing that you can use is like beehives. Wait. Let me show you what I mean by that. Like beehives also make a pretty good like countertop just because they've got like the difference in like, I don't know. It just looks different. Yeah. And then I use shulkers for fridges because they look like fridge and they also still have storage capabilities. So I think I'm going to put the fridge over here though. And then I'll bring this right here and then we'll do like a little itty bitty, like side table thing. Okay. Hey Sniffit chat, it's my birthday. Aw, welcome and happy birthday. Okay, so then we'll put this here. And this is like our little like kitchen island. And then we could get some barrels. Barrels tend to be like my just like go-to cabinets because they just look like cabinets. Do I want them higher or lower in this case? I mean, the tall cabinets don't really make sense there. So I'll do this. And then right here, we'll get a spruce trapdoor. And that can be like a little, just some difference. Just a little bit of variety. Okay, and then we're gonna add some more detail in here. So I typically like to use sea pickles for some reason. They just look like jars. It's a little weird. I don't get it, chat. I don't get it either. And then we'll get some spooky candles. Spooky candles seem like the way to go here. Where are our candles? Get some black candles. I feel like this house just needs candles like everywhere because it's just like so dark all the time. It just makes sense to me. Okay, let's see what else we got. Respawn anchor, soul lantern. I guess I could make my little classic. Okay, wait here. I'm gonna exchange this light real quick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this light and go like this. And then I'm gonna make sort of like a hanging light fixture for the kitchen. There you go. I think this is a cute little kitchen. Sniff the sink. Oh, thank you for reminding me that I do in fact need a sink. Okay, it's fine, chat. And I still left space for the sink. Luckily, sinks in Minecraft, we've all agreed upon that they are literally just a cauldron, so it works. And then I'll take my little redstone lever. There we go. I think that this is an adorable little kitchen. Wouldn't you say so, chat? All right, and then I'm gonna make like a really tiny table over here. Where are my... I'll use some dark oak stairs, and then I'm just gonna use dark oak blocks, honestly, for the most part here. Actually, I will just straight up make like the classic table. So brown carpet, and then we can take Where is it? Why can't I find my... Oh, wait. They're in here. There we go. Classic little carpet. Also, oh, I should add like a backsplash to the sink thing. So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna use red nether brick. Red nether brick. Here we go. And this just kind of makes it look like a kitchen backsplash. I think it's a little cute. Just adds a little detail. Yeah. So for the sink, try an oak stair with the water to fit the vibes. I could do that. Here, wait. Let me see. Like a waterlogged stair is what I'm assuming you mean by that. You want oak? Maybe instead of oak, I'll use quartz. Wait, quartz. Quartz. Here we go. Smooth quartz. Okay, wait. Oh, shoot. This is going to be hard to place this. Okay. And then we'll get water. I don't know. I just... Ooh. Smart thinking, Sniff. Smart thinking. Yeah, no, I think I'm just gonna stick to the cauldron. I'm a classic Minecraft builder, okay? I'm a little turd like that. Okay. Anyways. Then I'm going to make my... Here, I'm gonna grab this, and then we need a compost bin. And then we're gonna need like some dead leaves, so you guys said to use birch. I'll take moss. Okay. So then I'm gonna place that. Cool. And then over here we'll do like a little bookcase system, I guess. Like this house is gonna be very crammed, but like I said, I feel like that's just sort of the vibe. That's just sort of what you need. Like, yeah. There we go. Are you gonna make a checkered type floor? I was thinking about that, but I don't really know. I mean, I might just change it to stone at least. I feel like it just makes sense. Okay, can you place a dead bush instead of the thing? I don't think I can do that here. See, that's why. However, maybe there's something else I can use. Yeah, I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest. There's a reason why I kind of have to use the fence there. It's okay. Okay. Anyways, moving on. I'm going to just very quickly change this to a tiled thing. I'll just use smooth stone, I think. Oh, I did not line those up. I see. Okay. Oh well, that's what we get. And then I'll just also really quickly add like a small carpet, just because normally you have a carpet in front of your sink and your fridge, just in case. Yeah. Lightning rod maybe? Wait. Lightning. How do you spell lightning again? Not me forgetting how to spell lightning. But lightning rod might work. Wait. Sniff. Okay, there we go. And then let me place this back here. Okay. Yeah, I guess that works. Yeah. I've never had a carpet in front of my fridge. I always just put one, it's mostly in front of my sink that I always have one. I think it's, for me, it's mostly like a precautionary thing. 'Cause sometimes like, you know, you're like cleaning and water gets places. I don't know. Maybe I'm a nerd. Just gonna kind of do this like scattered carpet. It looks really weird, but it just is the vibe I like. Yeah. In case water drip. Yes. Okay. I'm glad someone gets it. Speaking of, let me add a nice little entry carpet. There we go. And then I feel like I need like a skull in here, at least in some areas. No one's gonna have to be a human skull. It's just the vibes I'm going for. Okay, and then out here, I really want to do some like big windows. So here, let me go grab the stairs. I'm personally just thinking like nice large back windows, even though this house unfortunately kind of has like just a very small area to work with. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna make this also one so I can leave space for a door that will lead out into the backyard. Okay. And then this will be where that door is. Yep, I think that works. Okay. And then I can... There we go. And then we'll have like a nice like living room area over here. I think what I'll do is I will turn this into a normal wall right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna make a little fireplace right here, but I'm gonna keep it deep slate. I'm just gonna use deep slate, like this tinier bricks. Okay, and then I'll just grab all the blocks I need for that. It's gonna be pretty small, but I feel like that's okay in this case, just because it doesn't need to be super big. Actually, I can do like a... Okay, and then I will turn this back part into deep slate, and we'll do some cracked bricks down there. It tends to be the one on the floor that cracked the most. And then I'll get a fire pit. There we go. Oh, I think that's pretty cute. And what I can do, I think, if... it's fine. I'll just leave it. Yeah. Okay. And then I will build a nice little cozy couch over here. I really like to use like the smooth sandstone for couches, only because it literally reminds me of like, I don't know, it literally reminds me of like this one couch that I had when I was a kid that was also like this weird tan, but it just works in my opinion. Okay, we'll grab this beach sign, or birch? Make it, I'm gonna make it 1 over. Actually, why don't I do like a sort of... I think against this wall was the right move, Sniff. Barf! Thank you so much! Thank you so much for the 18 months, I appreciate it! Okay, we'll put, no, I want to leave that there so that I can add a barrel or like a side table. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a lantern. When I do lanterns, I like to do an end rod, because it provides light, and that is cool. And then I will just typically do like a random block that I like. Luckily for me, like I said, I'm going with a pretty dark theme, so I can just kind of use whatever I want here. So here, let me just see what I'm in the mood for a sort of lampshade. Little odd lampshade. I'll just use mud. It's kind of icky, but it has like a nice texture to it, so I think it works. And then we can do, I know exactly what painting I want here. No. Oopsies. Bruh. Bruh. I just want the wither one. Is that so much to ask? There we go. Use quartz pillars. I could try that. Here we go. Quartz pillar. That looks like such a... I like that. I do like that. I do like that quite a bit. Wait, here, let me move over, chat. I'm just adjusting and all that jazz. Okay. Next, you know what? We need some shelves. We need some shelves, to be honest. Okay, I'm gonna do like this weird... Wait, let me do it the other way. Here, and then I'll finish up the ceiling in here. There we go. And then I'm gonna take some chain, and this is kind of just like a weird like hanging shelf that I do occasionally. It looks a little bit like a swing, but it's just a little silly. I did not mean to place the... I might have to change it ever so slightly though, because I still want to do the same like quartz ceiling treatment in here that I've been doing. Okay, I think this works. Yeah, it works. I'll go with it. And then do my little frog lights. The frog lights are probably my favorite thing that they have added. There we go, nice and light in here. Quickly do our little carpeted area. And then I don't think I'm gonna add a coffee table just because it doesn't make much sense to. But I am going to add a dead plant. Or actually, I think a mushroom here would work pretty well too. What do you think, chat? Okay, wait. Wait, where is my flower pot? There we go. I'll put that in there. I think this looks pretty good. And then I'm going to add spruce leaf. Okay. And then this will lead to the back area. That will become the little pretty cool looking like back garden that I'd like to do for both of them. Someone said any primes? Any primes? Wait, did Gucky talk in chat? Wait. Sniff, hi Gucky, hello, hello. Plant on the shelf, plant on the shelf. I can do like another plant up here. This one's gonna be the dead bush though. I just think that this, yeah. I do think we need like another skull somewhere. So I'm gonna get the wither skull actually and place it up there. Spooky, scary skeletons. Okay, and then let me go get the glass that I've been using for this house. Okay. I don't know why I do this, but I always put a darker shade at the very top. I think it just adds a nice variety. It kind of reminds me of like shades or blinds too. Hope your day is going well. It is. Okay, so there is a garage, by the way. It's gonna be down here because I'm kind of going for like this like city like area build. So I don't know. That's just what I've seen is like the garage that goes underneath. But I think that this looks very nice so far. So we're gonna go up here and we're gonna work on those bedrooms that I've been thinking about. I could probably do just like a classic. So okay, interesting, you know, idea. The bedroom does need to be in the back because technically, chat, bedrooms need to have windows. So yeah, we'll do 2 bedrooms. This can be a little small one and then this big one back here. Okay, actually let me make it out of my color that I've been using. I'm just gonna keep using this cyan terracotta. Like I said, this house is not supposed to be very lively. It's supposed to actually be kind of like grim. So I'm just sticking to a darker color palette. Wait, it's like a sniff food apartment duo? Yep, that's kind of the premise behind it. A greenhouse? Oh my god, wait, that'd be so cool. Like I really want to have like one garden be like absolutely dead and then the other one's like nice and luscious and green and yeah. Try using mangrove roots. Wait, mangrove roots. Oh my god. Yes, this is perfect. I know exactly where to put this actually. I was trying to do like a dead plant right here. I think that works so well. I don't know you, but this build looks really nice. Wish I had enough creativity for a build like this. Yo! Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's very sweet. Okay. Anyways, back to this. We're gonna do a bed here. And then this will be a bathroom. A wee little bathroom. It's the only bathroom in the entire house, so needs to be shared pretty nicely. Okay. And then we'll do the last bedroom right here. Probably gonna be the only bedroom used. Okay, and then I will fill in this cyan terracotta. get my doors. I'm probably just gonna use dark oak doors, honestly. Nope, other way. There we go. I'm probably gonna do the same, like, interesting. Oh, let me get up here. I'm gonna probably do the same, like, window treatment that I did down here, up here, so. Okay. Let me just fill in our little area and then we will get to decorating down here. I like how it gives off the stripped wallpaper effect. Thank you. I mostly I just like heavy trim in my houses. I think it just adds a lot of detail and kind of helps the monotony. Okay, I think this looks nice. We'll start with the bedroom first. So first thing I'm gonna do is change this to the wall as well. I kind of want to do like a pretty big and grand bed just because it's a little cheesy. It just makes sense in my brain. Will the house get a balcony? I'm considering it. It probably would be a very small one though. We shall see. You should use crimson doors, kind of like a throwback to the front door. I was thinking about that. However, red front doors are like a very specific thing. I don't know, man. It just makes sense in my brain to have the front door be the red door. Okay, big bed. Big bed. It has been a while since I've made like a large grand bed, so let's see. This has like not a lot of space in this room for something like that. I will make it work though. I don't know if I could do like a 4-post necessarily. For space sake, I will not do a 4-post, but I can at least do my classic Snifferish bed, which is just this. And then you we'll use black. Okay, and then get our barrels. Barrel. Music is a bit loud. Oh, sorry, I can turn it down. There you go, chat. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if it doesn't. Okay. And we'll place these barrels here for little side tables. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use... Where are they? I like to use the cartography tables when I'm working with dark oak. Just because it kind of looks like something on the tables. And then what we can also do here is I can add like a little lamp. Like I'm thinking, actually, you know what? We'll do candles instead. I think that the candles kind of stick to that theme. And then something that I really want to do in this house is I really want to have an area where the two houses connect. So like, I'm thinking what I might do is like a painting or something. I know it's just like the classic Minecraft trick. I just think it would be really cute and kind of silly if there was like a space in the house like where they both sort of just became one. So here, let me try it right here. We'll take we need signs, right? Isn't that what you need? Okay. That's not what I meant to do. Here we go. And then we will get our painting. Where is... I can't find the painting section. Hi, hello. Anyone who's just coming... Do the candles not light up? I've never used them. You can, I just haven't lit them yet. You need a lighter. Okay. Yeah, that works. And then I'll do like a 1 to balance it out. I'll do another small one right here. But yeah, there's gonna be like this little section where the little houses will connect in the bedrooms. Okay, and then wait, I gotta do those windows real quick before I forget. So the window's gonna be right here. What music do you play for streams? I have been playing, so Twitch has requested specifically that I really make sure I don't play anything DMCA, just because it's Pride Month and all that jazz. So I just been kind of listening to like most artists that has explicitly said that they are DMCA free. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, I think if I'm gonna add a balcony, it's going to be right here. So I will leave like a little, I guess, area for that, and then I will come back to it. And then in the meanwhile, I will use a door here. Where are the doors? Oh, they're right here. I just literally went past them. Here I will use a mangrove door too. It's kind of my signal for like outside door. What does that have to do with Pride Month? Sorry, I didn't really explain that super well. So because it's Pride Month and I'm part of Twitch's like Pride celebration, basically they any like Pride Month creators that they're like showcasing, they want to make sure that they don't have DMCA music. Yeah, I don't know if that makes any yeah. Are the layouts, are they gonna have the same layout? I would like them to have mirrored layouts. So like this is going to have pretty much the same layout. It's just going to be mirrored. I think it just makes sense, honestly. When you build buildings like these IRL, they tend to have really similar layouts just for like consistency, and supply consistency, and then price consistency. So yes, I'm just gonna make the same layouts but mirrored. Okay, so actually I want to make like a little desk. I'm thinking we'll use, wait, where, okay, wait. I wonder if there's like going to be a set command. Here, dark oak doors. So I'm going to take this first. I'm just going to make like a little, there we go. Actually, I think I will just do this instead. It's a little silly looking, but I think it's a cute desk. And then I will add a nice little plant on the desk. But by that, I want to put a skull on the desk. Just fits the theme. And then we'll put a plant in the corner. Let's see. For the plant, do this. We use the same trick that we used downstairs, except this one's gonna be like really dead. Okay, so what did we use again? We used a lightning rod, I think. Lightning rod. And then we'll take the mangrove roots and use those for the really dead ones. Okay, let me just fill this up real quick. There you go. Your really, really dead plant. And then I'll add like a little carpet right here. Let me go grab, block pick the ones from downstairs. Okay. Let me just... What about a dresser? I mean, I could probably fit that in. It's just gonna be a chest. Here, actually, you know what I can do is I can kind of do like a weird little chest system, I think. One sec, chat. I also need to move. I keep adjusting my legs because I always sit, I don't know if you guys know this, but I always sit in my chair crisscross because I can't sit like a normal person for some reason. I start to get anxious if I sit in a chair like in a certain way. So just sniff things. Okay, let's see. We'll take just the dark oak. We can make like a weird, I don't know if this would work. Okay, let me just... And then chest. Chest. I think what I'm gonna do is just that. Looks a little odd, but I kind of get it. I get the premise, you know? Hello, it's my first time here. Could you tell me a little bit about you? Hi. I don't know what that... I'm Sniff, I guess. I am a Minecraft builder, but I also like to play a lot of other games. So I guess I'm technically a variety streamer. I mostly like to play games that have like a creative aspect, either that or a really silly story. I am 19. I use they, them, or she, her pronouns. I am a silly little guy, and yeah. I do have a stream schedule technically. It is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. However, I do miss it occasionally just because at the moment I'm currently dealing with some physical health issues. But yeah, that's a good spiel. That's the Snifferish spiel if you ask me. Okay, let me go downstairs real quickly and grab that quartz, and I'm gonna do the same ceiling treatment that I did down there to here. Yeah, also, ooh, what else can I remember? I don't know. I also like to do art. I do art. I am an artist. But yeah, I'm an artist and I do occasionally do art streams. So yeah, I used to work professionally for the Minecraft marketplace. I was a professional Minecraft builder at the age of 16, making me the youngest person to ever work at the Minecraft marketplace from my knowledge. So yeah, that's a cool Snifferish fun fact. I also, what else did I also do? What are some cool Snifferish feats? I don't know. I recently was in LegoCon. That was cool. Yeah. I wonder if I can watch that video with you guys at some point to show you guys. Did you enjoy MCC Pride? I did enjoy MCC Pride. I thought it was super fun. I had a lot of fun with my team. My team was super nice. I really like being on a team with Illumina just because Illumina was like the first person I ever teamed with for what's it called? Shoot, why can't I remember? That one thing. So descriptive, Sniff. I was teamed with Illumina for like most of the. Wait, here, can I make like a really small bathtub? This is a really small bathtub. You know what? It works. It works. I'm gonna say that it works, and people are gonna be like, Sniff, that doesn't work, but it works. Minecraft, there we go. Yep. Have you ever played with Gemite? Oh gosh, I wish. She's so sweet. Okay, and then we will do the really chunky Minecraft toilet that everyone else does because I'm uncreative. Okay, there we go. And then we will do a little sink. Ooh. And you guys are probably, I just typed in sink. That was really classic, Sniff, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. And then I need to change this to tile. No way am I putting wood in a freaking bathroom. I don't know why that sand just appeared in my inventory. Alright, there we go. Yo, thank you so much for the raid, I appreciate it. Also, hello anyone just joining in, which is I, Snifferish. Thank you so much for the raid, Roxy. Okay. And then I need to do that little trick that I've been doing in all of the rooms. Just pop up here, grab this, and we will quickly do that in our tiny little bathroom. The good news is, chat, is once we've gotten this first part, we can kind of just copy and paste into the other side. So yeah, how are you? I am good. I am building, which always makes me pretty happy, to be honest. I'm just silly like that, to be honest. This is so cringe. I just like actually genuinely enjoy Minecraft. I know that's like, you're like, Sif, why are you saying that? I don't know, a lot of people that I watch have like no passion for Minecraft. They don't really enjoy it that much. I don't watch, I mean I'm friends with, which like, is not a judgment by any means. I think they just feel confined to it. What are you building? I'm currently building a little apartment building with 2 different apartments, kind of like townhousey style. Yeah, I was building in The Sims. We built a little witch house. Oh, that's adorable. I love The Sims. That is one of the games that I really like to play as well. Maybe I could do like a little bunk bed or something. I think it's just gonna be a really tiny room. Like, very tiny. Maybe we could do, wait. Wait. Let me get this bed back, and then... Okay, and then... Barrel? Question mark? I use barrels so often in decorating, I probably overuse them, but it's okay. Be who you want to be, Barbie girl, am I right, chat? Yo, thank you so much for the bits. If I love your build, you're always so amazing. Thank you, I appreciate that. I used to be so self-conscious of my builds when I first started. Looking back, it was just a silly thing. Okay, I'll just put a little thing there. And then we're gonna just make this room's gonna be really simple. It's gonna be also really dusty. I'm gonna put a lot of cobwebs and stuff in it. Like, it barely gets used. You just know that only one person lives here and this room barely gets used. And so it's kind of crusty, but that's okay. That's okay. That's just how it is. So let me get some spider webs. Where are the spider webs? Am I the only one that's like kind of blind? Like, I look at this and I see nothing. Okay, well here's the cobweb. Okay, and then we'll put more candle. Actually, I'll put just all candle in here. It's just a not used room. And then where's the chest? Here we go. Okay. I'm going to grab that cartography table real quick, chat. I always add streaming desk and Sims to mirror what I wish I had for a setup. Actually, really funny story. I recently just moved into a new office, and the first time that I I heard about my setup, I built it, or like about the new office thing, I built my office in The Sims first to get an idea of how I wanted to decorate it. It was probably the nerdiest thing I think I've ever done, if I'm being 100% honest. Okay, here's our little sad cobwebby room. Then I will do the thing up here again. And then lights. And then there we go. Here's our sad little room that probably never gets used, but it's okay. It's okay. Okay, and then I will do the window treatment here. I guess this, I mean, I'm gonna have this go to the roof for like, I guess vanity's sake, but it doesn't technically need to. Okay, and then this will go up right there. And then let me get... Ah! I did not mean to fall. Then I think that completes most of the interior for this one. Okay. What about carpet? I will add carpet in the not used room. But I think that this is a very, very lovely little apartment if you ask me, chat. And let me get up here real quick. Add some carpet in here. Just for the sake of it. Okay, we got our little bathroom. Got our master bedroom. So now what I will do is I will go to the other house and try and kind of mimic the pattern, I guess. I'm thinking about using a lighter wood, but I think I'm honestly just gonna stick to spruce. Okay. So if I remember correctly, we did right here. Okay, and then right here was the part where it went up. I don't know. Chat, I might need your help making sure I really mirror this correctly. I probably should have done both as I went, but I don't think that far ahead, so L. And then for the wallpaper in here, like the painted walls, I think I want to use the lime terracotta. I think it would just be really cute, honestly. And then let me get that dark oak real quick. Okay, so I think it went to here. Nice stuff. Good job. Okay, so if I remember correctly, and then I think there was another pillar right here. Let me just go double check this real quick. If you remove the roofs, you can see everything you did. That's true, but that's a lot of effort, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to simply cheese it. Because, yeah. And then this room is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me run over here real quick. So then this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if I remember correctly, this one didn't line up. It wasn't supposed to line up, so I think that meant that it was right here. Let me just double check that real quick. Okay. Yeah, so this one was one off, so okay. I am doing this right. I'm remembering correctly, chat. Okay, so this one goes right here. So we'll fill in this floor real quick, just so that I can get that over with. And I think for the most part, that's like our layout. Yeah, and then obviously there's like, this is the living room area. Okay, I love the green wall. Thank you. Like I said, I really want this, like, this half of the house to be much more colorful and, like, much more lively than the other half. Kind of doing, like, a whole, like, light and death theme, like, sort of, like, opposites. Just because I thought it would be silly, chat. I thought it would just be a silly little idea of mine. Okay, so we'll build up real quick. Hello people who are just joining. Welcome. Good morning. I don't know, is it morning? It's like 2 p.m. I guess it's morning. I guess you could call it morning. That's morning to me sometimes when I sleep. I don't know. I've been waking up at like 11 lately. It's really bad, but I stay up working, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's normal. Maybe it's okay. It's still morning for me. See, it's morning somewhere. And then there's the British people that are like, I just ate dinner. What are you talking about? Like, okay, this, if I remember correctly, yep. This wall gets to be a painted wall. I gotta remember where the other floor starts. It's 12 where I am. Makes sense. If this is life and death, does that mean you're gonna have human dead where the skulls are? Probably not. Probably just normal plants, if anything. Alright, let me figure out where the second floor starts on this one. I think it's... Okay. I think if I remember correctly, it's like right here. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'll just fill this in real quick. This whole floor. It's 6 p.m. right now. The dark side makes my little Wiccan heart happy. Well, if you're Wiccan, happy solstice. Okay. Here, I am just... I don't know, I just thought it would be cute. And the person that I'm building this for, or like where this is going, I did not mean for these vines to spread so viciously. Oops. Kind of just wanted it to stay like little guys. The reason this is getting built is for a nice little secret project, so I don't know. I have high hopes for it. And you guys will see it again. Will you be participating in the next MCC? Well, I don't know. The thing is about MCC chat is you have to sign up for it. I did sign up for it. I think I can tell you that. But whether or not I'll be in it, I wouldn't be surprised if I got benched this MCC, just because I have been in MCC like the last 3 times. But I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, and then this. And then the door is right here. You can place a string under the vines to make them stop growing. I can do that, you're right. I just forget sometimes, Charles. Okay, I think this is good, and then let me extend this all the way up here. I've got my hunches. Not you guys freaking out over banana phone. If you're new, by the way, here, you'll know that, you might not know this, but banana phone is just a silly little song in my chat. We have a whole emote for it and everything. If you don't get it, that's okay, but if you enjoyed it, just use the emote and you know, do the thing. Oh my... I didn't realize that this was in the playlist. Thank you for the 2 months.
Love.
Thank you. The big house. Have a chat. God. Give me... I simultaneously hate and love this song. Oh my god. I'll never forget when it just got like randomly super popular on TikTok after I used it. And I was like, wow, this is so Snifferish core. This song is my ringtone. I love it. I love it so much. I don't even know why I know this song. I think it's like, there used to be this like camp counselor of mine that would like play it out loud, like on a speaker, like in the middle of like our little daycare place, and I just thought he was so quirky and silly. Play the TikTok I sent you on stream. It's banana phone related. Okay, wait, let me grab my phone. Let me grab my phone. Okay. Let's see this. What should I be scared? Where did you send it, Charles? Is it on Discord? My cellular bananular phone. Okay, wait, let me turn down my sound real quick. Okay, Poodle shared a video. Is it? Okay, Charles. Wait, let me take off my... Let me pause this. Charles sent me a TikTok chat. Apparently we have to watch it. Okay, I'm turning it up on my phone. Oh my god, my camera! No! How did my camera just die? Hello? Oh, that's so true. Wait, here, let me plug in my camera again, chat. I don't know what happened there. Ah! So true. Anyways, what happened to my camera? Hello? Here, let me try this. Oh no! It's broken! Hello? Camera? Did it get unplugged? I don't understand how that would have happened, but give me a second, chat. I think my camera got unplugged. I don't know why I said it like that. Hello? Is it gonna turn back on? Hello, camera? What? Oh no, the table, it's broken. Seriously though, what? Why you no work? Oh, okay. I hear you. Did another application open or something? I don't understand. Here, wait, let me try something. Why, what? Hello? Wait. The camera is just in a silly, goofy mood. When you grabbed your phone, it froze and then died? Is it because my phone was... Wait. What happened? What the frick? Is my phone messing with my camera? I see you, camera. Wait, here, let me try unplugging it, plugging it back in, and then turning it on. Try reading the layer of the... What does that mean? I don't use Streamlabs. I'm sorry. Here, let me... I don't... Chat, I'm stupid. Okay? Deactivate. Activate. Maybe if I... Wait. Wait. Chat, I will get this. Oh, now my OBS is just breaking. Now my OBS isn't responding. The phone broke.